So capturing stunning videos with the Mini 3 Pro is extremely easy because it's so good out of the box. If you ask me, it's the best sub 250 gram drone and the perfect travel companion. But is there a way to make the videos coming from this drone look better, or if not better, add to the quality to make you capture more of your scene and get a better looking cinematic video? So in today's video, I want to talk to you about the brand new filters for the Mini 3 Pro, the wide angle and anamorphic lens from Freewell. So here I have the world's first anamorphic lens for the Mini 3 Pro, along with a wide angle lens and ND filters. In this pack, you'll find a wide angle lens, anamorphic lens, and the ND filters from 16, 32, 64, and 128, as well as 256. Now, the way it works is simple. You put on either of the two lenses, either the wide angle or the anamorphic, and then you place your desired ND filter. Now, since the combination of the lens and the ND filter is quite heavy, you should want to add the lens first and then power on your drone. If needed, you can also recalibrate the gimbal with the lens installed, and once the calibration is done, then you can place the ND filter. Now, from using these filters for 3 days straight now and doing about 25 flights, I haven't experienced any issues using the filters, or I haven't had any issues with the gimbal at all. Now, ND filters are crucial for getting a good looking image when you're filming during the day. So I'm really glad they made it with the option to use ND filters, and that they also included 5 different types for the convenience of taking photos or videos. So let's talk a little bit about these lenses and how they can improve your videos or add something different to your collection. So first, the anamorphic lens. What is it and what does it do? Anamorphic lenses can make your videos and photos feel larger. It compresses the image horizontally to capture an artificially widened field of view with a standard 4:3 size. This is also called de-squeezing and creates a wider aspect ratio in post-production without a wide-angle lens. Not only do you get a wider field of view, but you can also capture horizontal lens flare. The lens flare occurs when the light from the bright source reflect off the front of the lens and can have 2 effects for your image. Either the light becomes a haze that changes the contrast of your footage for a more washed out look, or you'll see a starburst or a line. Now, what I really like about the anamorphic lens from Freewell is that they made the reflection more subtle. So when you get a lens flare, it's not becoming the main focus of the shot, but rather an addition which makes the footage look better. An example here is when I light up my car with the normal lens and auto settings, it looks decent, and with some color grading, it looks better. Now, using the anamorphic lens with the same settings, adding some color grading and the natural cinematic bars which you will get with an anamorphic lens, we have a much more cinematic, and if you ask me, it looks so much better. So when should you actually use this type of lens? Well, you can actually use this with most of your shots, to be honest, but where it really shines is in low light conditions, especially if you're filming in the city, and it also gives your sunrises and sunsets a more cinematic look. And it's overall a pretty versatile lens which works for most shots. But using this, you will also need to add some changes to your footage in post-production to get the full effect out of the lens. So if we move over to the clip here, we have to de-squeeze it to get the full effect. And an easy way to do this is to use the de-squeeze factor of 1.19x. So if we now change the scale X to 119, since we have a de-squeeze of 1.19, our image will be stretched out. So to compensate the stretch, we now gonna take the overall scale and bring down to 100. So that will give us a scale Y of 84.03, and this is the de-squeeze factor that you can use for your clips. So for each clip added, you only have to change the scale Y to 84.03, and you're all set. So let's talk about the wide angle lens, which you also get in this pack. So you get the wide angle lens, the anamorphic lens, and you get 5 ND filters. So what does this wide angle lens do compared to the original wide angle lens from DJI? So basically, a wide angle lens for the Mini 3 Pro has been out on the market for a very long time. But at start, this was only available to a few people, and here in Norway, it's still not available. The original DJI wide-angle lens is still not available, which sucks, but I'm really happy that Freewell made these and that they also made it with the inclusion of ND filters. So you basically take the ND filters, snap on, and you're all set. You are good to go. Really easy. You have the lens here, whether this is the anamorphic or the wide angle lens, and you just take off the ND filter. So you have the ND filter here, the lens here, and you just snap them on like that. And you will hear a tiny click and you are good to go. Really simple, really easy to use. Now let's talk about the specs from the original wide angle lens for DJI and the Freewell. So the original wide-angle lens from DJI has a 101 degree field of view. Now the new wide-angle lens from Freewell has a 111 degree field of view. So you will be able to capture more of your scene. Simple as that. You will be able to capture more of your scene with the Freewell ND filter. And on top of that, you can also use ND filters with the wide angle and anamorphic lens. So you will always be able to capture good looking cinematic shots by having a correct shutter over FPS. So recording at 30 FPS, your shutter should be 1/60. Recording at 60 FPS, your shutter should be 1/120, and so on. So more information about these filters will be linked down in the description below. Let me know your thoughts on the anamorphic lens here, and have you used a filter like this before with a different camera, and what have you been filming with it? So that's gonna be everything for today, and as always, thanks for joining in, and I will see you in the next video. Take care.